What up, people? Push Wild Black here with Push Wild Black Sports, and this is the Spurs vs Bulls vlog for today. And Spurs beat the Bulls 87-77. And this is Fred Hoiberg, we've seen your offense for 2 games. And what if the threes aren't falling? So are you a system guy or are you a coach? Which is what I've been asking since he got hired. Where are your adjustments at? Because now you have no veterans with the exception of Lopez, and you wanted Lopez to be the starter, and your big free agent signing, your main franchise player is injured in Levine, and your main point guard is injured in Chris Dunn, and your main free agent signing, Nico, is out indefinitely. So now, the second game of the season, what are you going to do? What is your wrinkle in the offense to where, how are you going to get points if those three-pointers ain't falling? Because they weren't falling today. They were 8 for 28. They were 28.6% from the line, from the three-point line. What are you going to do now? Because Jerry Grant does not seem like he's interested in going to the lane until it's the last 3 to 5 minutes of the game. They don't pass the ball to Lopez, even though Lopez had 18 points. Your best offensive player, I agree with Stacey King today, your best offensive player is Lauri Markkanen. He can, in certain situations, he can take power forwards to the lane. The matchup between him and Pau Gasol was interesting. There were moments where Pau got him. There were moments where he got Pau. So when those three-pointers aren't falling, where are you going to manufacture offense? And this is more of a... And I want to say this too. Like, the argument was made today. And it really wasn't an argument, but there was a point. And I want to just break this point down a little bit. You don't have a established star on the Bulls. Levine isn't here yet. He's still going through an injury. What I don't want to happen is the same thing that happened last year. And let me explain what I'm about to say. What I don't want to happen is I don't want, when Levine comes back, everybody just, okay, Zach, here's the ball, and you go for 30 every night. In regards to not running offense. That doesn't need to happen. Nor does anything like that need to happen where the offense is sacrificed the offense is sacrificed from somebody getting off. Like, the problem with Jimmy Butler and Dwayne Wade is Fred wanted to run an offense. And this brings back to what I was saying earlier. What is Fred Hoiberg going to do? Fred wanted to run an offense. It's a ball movement, 3-point first offense, right? They're going to take a lot of shots. They took 28 3-point shots. His offense is that. His offense is move the ball around. Who has the best long distance shot, take the shot, right? Jimmy didn't run that offense. D-Wade didn't run that offense. It was basically 2-man game or ISO last year. And you weren't winning because Jimmy, despite what everybody says, Jimmy Butler is inconsistent. Jimmy Butler will give you 30 points. They're going to be the most painful 30 points you'll ever see. They're not fluid at all. It's a painful... Yeah. Okay. It's painful to watch him score 30 points when he's the main option. Sometimes he has a good shooting game. Sometimes he doesn't have a shooting game. There have been times where I've seen Jimmy Butler, as a Bull, be given the keys to the game and not do anything. Okay? we're not going to win anything with him. I've read articles about how Bulls fans are not going to watch anymore because they traded Jimmy Butler, how they could have built a team around him, and all this stuff, right? No. I watched Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler has played now in Minnesota. This is one of them situations, and I said it in my preview, my NBA preview. This is one of them situations where he may make me look really bad in Minnesota because Minnesota didn't have a closer last year. Minnesota was just young, and Tibbs isn't known for his offensive coaching ability. Tibbs is known for defense. So he was just letting dudes figure it out offensively, and no one could close. And they were in a lot of close games because they were talented and they can defend when they got the concepts, but they couldn't close. With Jimmy Butler, you can give the ball to Jimmy in certain situations and on certain nights, and he's going to go for 30, and there it is. And even Minnesota has, because Wiggins could still score, and I don't know if he's going to be, I don't know if he's learned to close this year because it's early, but you got Towns, you got Wiggins, you got Jimmy, and you got Teague. And you got Jamal Crawford. So the ball isn't necessarily going to be in Jimmy's hands to close. You got two to three other people at the very least in Minnesota who can probably close out that game. I watched Jimmy Butler for years. Some nights he's able to get you 30. Some nights he's able to get you 35. Some nights you give the ball to his hands and he can't do anything. He couldn't do nothing. So I don't want, when LaVine comes back, I don't want LaVine to turn into Jimmy from the standpoint of, I don't want people to be standing around and they break the offense just so he can get 30 to 35 points a game. Now, based on what happened today, though, there got to be certain situations where you're down by 7 or you're down by 5, because this game could have been, I'm not saying they could have won this game, but this game was close enough to where if Pop didn't care, he was going to let you have this one. You know what I'm saying? He was going to let you have, he would let the Bulls have this game if the Bulls got out on a run. Like, well, we'll put everybody, because he was letting a lot of young guys play today. So if you're down by 5 or you're down by 7, how are you going to get a score in? Is it going to be Jaren Grant? Is it going to be Justin Holiday? Is it going to be Kay Felder? Are you going to put Marketing in the high post and let him take dudes to the lane like he can do, or like he's shown to be able to do? Are you going to pound the ball to Lopez? What do you need to do to get buckets when the 3 ball isn't hitting? Who are you going to rely on? That's what I mean. I don't want someone to emerge and be like, okay, we're going to go for 30 and it's clunky and the person's inconsistent, and your inconsistency to get 30 or to get 35 every day is going to break the offense down. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying, there needs to be situations in the offense where the offense be damned, give me a couple baskets. And you don't necessarily need an established star to do that. You just need somebody to, you have people that can be not necessarily stars, but you can have people that can play that role. You can put Lopez down on the block and feed the ball to him. Okay, we need a basket. Feed the ball to him. Let him do that little hook shot and get us a couple points so we can get back in rhythm. You can give the ball to Marketing in certain situations on the court in the high post, or see if he has a little post game. It was a move against Powell where he kind of bodied Powell a little bit. and he got down in the post and made a basket. Maybe he has a little post game, or maybe he has a face up jumper like LaMarcus Aldridge does, to where you can get him involved when you need a basket, and it doesn't necessarily need a three. Can K Felder maybe can he play more? Can you run a 2 or 3 guard set where, especially since Levine isn't here and since Chris Dunn isn't here, and even if Chris Dunn comes back, they might need to run a 3 guard offense where it's maybe Holiday guarding a small forward position. Now you're going to take Zipser out of there, but Holiday guarding small forward, and you either have Jerian Grant, K Felder as the 2 guard, and that can work because Jerian Grant's 6'4", and Jerian Grant 6'4", and then you can have Chris Dunn guarding the or as a point guard position, and then you can switch defensively where Dunn guards the 2 guard and Jerian Grant guards the point guard, or vice versa. I'm not sure. I know that that's happened before with a lot of teams. You can run a 3 guard offense with them, and I think with the Bulls you can do that, especially with this type of offense. They just have to figure out where the baskets are going to come from if those 3 balls ain't falling. And that's where I want to see Fred develop as a coach. Okay, the 3 ball isn't falling. You got to give somebody a green light in the offense. Okay, get us a basket now. Okay, go to the lane. Because I know Stacey was putting that on the players, but if you got a lot of young guys, and if one of Fred Hoiberg's biggest things was no one's running the offense. One of the biggest criticisms of the Bulls last year was no one's running the offense like they're supposed to run it. And you basically got a coach that wants to run the offense a certain way, and you're trying to either get playing time or make a impact on this team. You're going to try to run the offense. And from what I've seen in the last 2 games, they're passing up 2-point baskets for 3-point shots. And they are not going to the lane. There's no... I think there was a time where they had, 5 free throws for the game, and it was like in the 3rd quarter. It was mid-3rd quarter. That can't happen. So that's my biggest thing today. I didn't expect them to win. This would have been one of them games where Pop would have just gave you this one if you came up with a late run to where it's like, well, it's a late run. I'm really not going to expand a whole bunch of energy here. I'm not really going to put my starters out there just to get this game. We'll go for the next one. So this would have been a game where they might not necessarily would have won, but if the cards would have been dealt right, Pop would have gave them this one. But that's what I want to see in the next game, or because I think the next game to where the Bulls have a legitimate shot here, because they're going to be competitive in a lot of these games, but I'm still not expecting them to win. I didn't expect them to win against Toronto because it's Toronto. I didn't expect them to win against the Spurs because it's the Spurs. Although with the way, like I said, with the way it was being coached, Pop would have gave you this one if you would have had a late run or something. But teams against Atlanta, when this team goes against Atlanta, when this team goes against like Indiana, when this team goes against Phoenix, you know what I'm saying? Like, this is when I'm expecting one of those 27 wins to come from. And everybody else is saying 20 wins. I say they're going to win 27 wins because at least 7 of them, there's going to be 7 games, in my opinion, where they're going to shoot themselves in a game. So I think this team will go 27 wins with the season, and if they play Markkanen right, or if they play marketing, if they don't bench him when Nico comes back or Portis comes back, and they keep him in the starting lineup and let him develop this season, I'm not saying that's your franchise player because I don't know who your franchise player is. This might not be a year where Levine might not even be your franchise player. This may just be a year where you're just figuring this out. And that's fine. Because I think the whole like franchise player thing, I think you can grow into that. As far as like, or a team could grow into that. You don't need that number one guy, like right off top. If you look at Golden State Warriors, which if this team is trying to be like Golden State Warriors East, Steph Curry didn't, when he got drafted, they didn't expect him to be, what he is now. They didn't expect Klay to be what he is. And they didn't expect Green to be. They didn't expect Golden State to be what they were. They didn't. But everybody grew together, and then Kevin Durant just, I want to play with y'all. And now you probably have a dynasty in the league for the next 5 years or so. So if this is what this team is trying to be, you have a piece here. I don't know if Thor Markin is going to be the next Dirk Nowitzki. He might not be. He might be second or third player on a championship team or a contender. I don't know yet. But you can coach to where this offense, a star can emerge. I don't think you need to have a star to where it's just, okay, here's a star now. We have a star now. Here's the ball. Take us to the promised land. I think that needs to be done in doses, but I think the offense doesn't need to be totally thrown away here. So, yeah, as a coach, Fred needs to like tweak the offense a little bit and have sets to where, okay, 5-7 points down, we need a basket. Somebody get the green light to go to the lane. Whether it's Felder, whether it's Holiday, whether it's Grant, one of them three guys, or put it down in the post and let's see what happens. But anyway, push the ball blackout. That's it for me. I will see you guys the next time I do one of these, which will probably be in the next couple of days. Later.